Hello and welcome back to another episode of Raw and Real with Stefanie Fernandes. I'm Stefanie, your podcast host, rapid transformational therapist, and founder of Your Freedom program. I work with women who want to take back their life, returning to themselves on their healing journey. In this podcast, we give the stage to women who overcame adversity, trauma, or difficult phases in their life. Be ready to get raw emotions from real people. The stories we share here are to inspire women just like you that anything is possible. My guest today is Amla Mehta, and her story is incredibly inspiring, characterized by perseverance and determination. As a legally blind woman, she's an advocate and activist on behalf of all people living with disabilities, whether they have mobility, hearing, vision, cognitive, or other challenges. Amla's journey of blindness organically became the catalyst that enabled her to love herself unconditionally, both her innate irregularities and her internal and external shimmery qualities. I love that. Amla is the author of several books. One of them is I with a View, a memoir of self-help. Hi, Amla, and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me, Stefanie. It's a pleasure.
I love how your journey has led you to unconditional love for yourself. I think, we all need much more of that. I love that. So please tell us your story today.
So, just in a nutshell, I was born with a genetic eye disorder. It's called gyrate atrophy, gyrate atrophy, atrophy. It's on my website, amlasspeaks.com. You could read about it there. But basically, the prognosis is between the age of 45 and 60. The majority of my vision will dissipate and or not be there. So I'm in my late 40s and I see through fog and I have tunnel vision. So my vision is closing in along with basically if I look outside, honestly, it's just outside today, it looks all fake. Everything looks faded out, blurry, milky, cloudy types of vision. So, but with the interesting fact, and it's honest, divine as my witness, that's how I call it. I cannot believe how clearly I feel inside out with the poorest vision ever. And amazing. When I had more sight, I had my driver's license. I lost my driver's license. I had cataract, all sorts of things going on. I went through depression about 10 years. And I didn't know it was depression because my heart it felt like it was getting stomped on over and over again. So it's subtle, right? Like it's kind of like the only way I could describe it is like falling in love, right? You don't know you're in love until you're actually in it.
Mm-hmm. But
falling
not the
in
process
love is just kind of like you're in, like it's gradual, it's seamless. It's like, oh, what is this? I don't know, but this sadness is not going away. And the grief, yes.
Tell me more about that.
So, so it's actually one of my chapters in the book. It's called Where's the Light? There are 12 stories in the book, I with the View. And it was basically, I'll tell you the story. So it's interestingly enough, I was watching, this is 2010. I was watching the Titanic for the 6th time, the movie. And Leonardo DiCaprio was dying in the movie. And I felt like I was dying with him. And the reason is because I think what triggered me looking back is the fact that he was so in love with Rose, the character, and he would die for her, right? And so I'm like, well, who's there for me, so I was literally on my hands and knees, and I was really, and it just triggered me. I was just so traumatized. And so like I was berated God, divine, supreme source, whatever you want to call it. And I said, like, where were you when I was struggling? How come you're not there? Like, why am I constantly getting up, persevering, and then falling down again, and then persevering and then falling down again? Where are you? And I just yelled at God and I said these words, honest. And it was, and I'm sorry, I'm stumbling with my words. I said, I just want to feel again. I just want to feel again. And I shut the TV off because it was a recording of the movie. I crawled into bed, and that's right before, that's when I said, I just want to feel again. And then the next morning, I sure felt my whole body was in excruciating pain, head to toe. So basically, I numbed up, looking back, all of my feelings, everything, and became hard plywood.
Oh.
So that was a breaking point.
And what happened then? How did you deal with that?
So that's an interesting question again. So that was when I was 36. So it was 2010, 36. So when I was 28, this is related. I went to a 10-day silent retreat. It's called Vapasana. It's worldwide. V means in, Basana means sight. So here I am, a legally blind lady, going to a retreat, 10-day silent retreat, and it was literally called Insight. Little did I know that. I only learned that during the course. So it was all, again, divine was working with me. And bottom line, it was based on Buddhism. I'm not going to go into the whole song and dance of the meditation, but basically it's about looking at yourself, observing yourself wholeheartedly. There's no mantras, there's no nothing. All you're doing is observing your breath. And breath is life, right? Without your breath, you're not living. So that's what we go back to every time. And without Vipassana, I know I wouldn't have been able to survive even 8 years later, because that happened at age 28. And my first depression was around age 29. So it was a gradual effect, kind of like this vision loss. You don't realize, I don't realize I'm bumping into people until I'm out in public and I bump into crowds and people and chairs or whatever it is without my cane. So now I use a cane. It's been a while. It's been 10 years or so of that. So, but the depression was like, that was the tipping point of me. I was on my hands and knees, and that's actually in the story. I died physically. Back in 2008, I fell and I have 9 pins and a plate in my foot and my ankle. So I died. The roots of me died. That's how I call it, like the roots of a tree. I died there. And then emotionally, I fell in love for the first time. I died that way. And then mentally, it was the depression. And then spiritually, I lost faith in divine source, supreme, whatever you'd like to call it. The man, the woman upstairs. Yeah. So.
And what happened then?
So it was just the tipping point. And I knew, I knew that when I woke up the next day saying, feeling the pain head to toe, I knew it. I was like, okay, you've got to feel in order to heal. And that's what I learned during the hardcore meditation. Without that, I don't know. I mean, it's all divine timing anyway. But without that, I don't know where I would have been, because I knew exactly what to do then. I didn't know I was numbing up so much heartache that has had accumulated throughout all those years. But I mean, it took me, it was about 8 years, and then probably the 9th or the 10th year, it was like the bridging years from trauma to healing. So that was a good 10 years of healing. I got into yoga. I started exercising. I started taking care of myself, drinking lots of water, and so I haven't stopped that.
It's a process, isn't it?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
It's a process.
Yes, it always is. It's never, life is never linear. It's always a spiral staircase, and you slip up and you go down flights of stairs like I have.
Yeah.
And my age, I know that I'm not done yet. I'm going to slip again. But again, life is about being in the present moment and bringing joy to what is. Today, I'm going to be honest. I was really down today because it's just like my vision, the blindness is on my doorstep now. I see through fog. I have tunnel vision. I could still physically read, but can you imagine seeing through thick fog over like a river? That's how I read.
Mhm.
So the point is that I was down and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And I just, this is so difficult really today. And what got me through it is that, you know what? I could still read. I could still do most things. And that's why, in air quotes, I'm not even considered blind, even in my own family. They don't think of me as that because I can function pretty darn well.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think of those things that to get me through those moments of just down and just like, gosh, what kind of a life it was I would be lying. It was so difficult,
Mhm.
so extremely difficult to get through those hoops of ignorance, of betrayal, of manipulation, of people taking advantage of me because, oh, I don't see, therefore I don't have a brain that works, or I'm considered less than in society. And that's the truth, right? Let's call a spade a spade. And if you're not physically, in air quotes, normal, you're going to be, you know, set aside a little bit. But at the same token, again, like you said at the beginning of the podcast, anything is possible. And so my gift for myself is to get back up again. Now, I talk about that in my writing and my speaking engagements all the time. Is that it might take 10 minutes, it might take 10 days, it might take 10 years, it might take 50 years. But the point is that you get up again. And to me, that is success. It's not about you know how many awards or how many books I've written or how much money I make or the house that I live in. Success is really that of saying, hey, you know what? I fell down, but I admit it and I accept it and I will get up again.
Mhm.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I will get up again.
Yeah.
That's resilience.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you're saying that what really helped you through this journey of healing was to tap into your resources rather than your limitations.
Absolutely. And it's all internal toolbox. This is all boot camp, right? I mean, I think of it, we've been 2 years into the pandemic now. And it's funny because all that hard work, that climbing up the mountain of Mountain Everest, if you would, and all those challenges, the blood, sweat, and tears, it prepared me. It very much prepared me for the chaos that was happening when the whole world shut down 2 years ago. Here's the irony: is like, okay, I got this,
Mhm.
right? And it was amazing. Who would have thought that in my lifetime, going through restrictions and limitations physically, that the world would be doing the same thing? They just had to catch up to where I'm at, so to
Mhm.
speak, in air quotes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, what
yeah.
would you tell your younger self, if you could give her an advice, the
Yes,
things you know now? What would you tell her?
I'd really tell her to believe in herself because I think I was so critical, I was so doubtful, and I felt that the world was against me
Mhm.
with the ignorance that I've experienced. And it was just like you crawl back into that hole because this is that hole. They point the fingers. Oh, it's you don't know, you don't know. And now I know that nothing could shake me up like an earthquake. If I choose gratitude, I choose my attitude in
Yeah,
life.
I
And that's what
love
I would
it.
tell my younger self, is that you choose to be the best you are with the cards that you're dealt.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's what I am. And as Wayne Dyer says it, I want to be a better version than I used to be. And that could be 5 minutes ago. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be a linear time, days, whatever. You choose every breath you take in and you exhale is a gift.
Mhm.
What are you going to do with that? I love saying that. It's a rhetorical question. What are you going to do with those gifts, the gift of breath? that you've been given.
We take it for granted, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's right. That's right.
And when we start,
me,
go ahead.
it's so true. But like even me, like the fact that I do see, like talk to me the day that I can't read.
Yeah.
Wow. I still can't imagine it on a minute, basically. Right? I don't know how that's going to be.
Yeah.
But I can't prophesize on that either. But it's just the gift is there. That's my point. The gift of whatever it is, that I have partial vision, that I have my heart. It's not even I have my heart. I project and illuminate the love that I am. And that takes time, process. It takes a lot of heart to love all of you. And that means the shadow parts of you. Anybody can love. If it's a beautiful day out there, I'll take advantage of it, right? It's a beautiful day. There's nothing to worry about. Talk to the person when there's a blizzard outside. Right? Then you're trying to struggle, you're struggling things. You're trying to get the sand and the salt and the shovels or the scarves and the hats to get ready. Forget about when the storm is here. So again, I always talk about the weather in my talks and my books, because it's such a perfect example of life. You don't know what the weather is going to be, but you adapt accordingly.
Yeah.
That's the key. You adapt to what is, not what could be. Because on a sunny day, most people are never saying, oh, I wish it would rain. Right? On a rainy day, people are like, oh, I wish it would be sunny. But it is a rainy day. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to bake some cookies for your children and make it a little art project? Right?
It's all what you make of it.
Absolutely.
So what would you say to people that, were ignorant and that hurt you, maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally? What would you recommend?
Well, it's all about forgiveness, because if I'm carrying that, which I was through the depression, I told, this is a little secret, I guess. I'm going to sell to the whole world. It's not really a secret, but it's basically, I told God, divine supreme, I'm never doing that again. I'm going to feel everything. And that doesn't mean having temper tantrums. It's about doing it in a very constructive way. Like I actually go into the car and I just scream when I'm like, losing my mind, so to speak. So that no one's hearing it. It's natural. It's safe. You're not hurting anyone. That's what I do. So, the art of forgiveness is key for whatever I've experienced. Right. So what I say, the best way to describe it for your listening audience and for you even is that, everything is connected, right? You're a daughter. You might be a sister. You might be a wife. You might be a customer. How many roles do you play during just a 24-hour day, right? These people, as I like to call it, the ignorant ones or whatever, they played a role in my life. Now, am I going to have them as permanent casts? That's up to me, right? Like, that's where the forgiveness piece comes in of like, do I really want this as a permanent piece of my life that wagging my fingers, they hurt me, they hurt me, they hurt me. Now, I'm going to be honest. Of course, when I'm trying to, I feel things out. Yeah, I'm upset. And yeah, I'm going to be like, oh, I can't believe this person, ABC person did this, right? But as I'm feeling through those emotions like a waterfall, standing underneath the waterfall, letting those emotions just stream right through me, the easier it is that I could forgive and say, you know what? I'm not carrying this with me anymore. I am not, because I am the conductor of my life.
And that's an intentional decision.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So forgiveness is key, because I mean, we all go through things where we've been hurt. It doesn't have to be ignorance, but I mean, you have to forgive from your heart. When you say you've forgiven and it's still coming up, I'm going to be straight shooter. It's still triggering you. You haven't forgiven the person, nor have you forgiven, key point, yourself. You got to forgive yourself first and then the other person. It's easier the other. You can't do it the other way around. I forgive the other person then and not forgive yourself. You forgive yourself for the anger, the frustration, the whatever, the pain. And then you forgive the other person, and it's all heart centered. If you're not doing it from the heart, it will come and it'll sneak up on you. Trust me. It has done that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, haven't I done this? No, I haven't. Obviously, I'm triggered for something. And it's being honest with yourself.
Definitely.
The ego wants to be like, no, I got this. I have control. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
And like now I'm in spirituality land, like the spiritual staircase. I'm just so like, whenever ego wants to just say those, I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, you stand to the side here. I actually talk to my ego.
I love that. Because then, once you say it out loud, you can tackle it. Otherwise, it's just ruminating and it stays there and it's so subtle and it just goes with you all day long and without almost realizing. But once you speak it out and you even, have a monologue about it, it becomes tangible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's why kids are so resilient in the first place, because they just say what's ever on their mind. Now, I'm not telling you to go in the inner child and just talk and just spew out, whatever is going on. But like if you're in closed walls, closed doors, go ahead and do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. I do that all the time because I don't have that luxury of like getting away all the time per se. Mobility can be difficult where I live, but at the same token, I always talk about freedom and freedom it really is a subjective term. Look at the Diary of Anne Frank. She was stuck in a closet. Look at Nelson Mandela, who was jailed for all those years. Martin Luther King, all these people who found freedom being literally trapped. That's amazing, right? Yeah. Physically, I am limited pretty much a lot, more times than not. But look at I feel so liberated and free and full of love that just streams through my body. And it just, energy and love is felt. It's that easy. It's only felt. Yeah. It's never told.
Oh, that's true.
It's never, you could hear it, yes, but it's felt.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah, I love your energy. I mean, we are so far away from each other, but I love how I can feel your energy through here. It's amazing. And when you are advocating for people with disabilities, like what is your message?
My message is that, always believe in yourself. And it could be tough. Like if you have to wear like a post-it or put post-its around saying I am fearless. The I am presence is a beautiful affirmation. It's so easy. Actually, I sell t-shirts on my website, and one of my affirmation t-shirt is I am authentic, I am brave, and I am strong. With that, I am enough. So a 5-year-old can say that, a 105-year-old can say it. Anybody can say this. It's not the blind lady saying it. And even the words, they're very powerful, and you can get through anything. I'm living proof of it. I don't have any excuses either. I just want to be treated as equally as anybody else. And that's what the disabled community, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether you're deaf, whether you're blind, whether you're autistic, it doesn't even matter. The point is to not only believe in yourself, but say you've got this. You are enough. Yeah. That's my advocate. I love that. I mean, I came up with that because of the falls. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have a t-shirt like this. And so I have them on my website, and the other signature saying, there's only 2 t-shirts. It's about me and my message. And the other message that I always sign off with all of my books and in my publishing writings is shine love, shine light, shine you. And so that's one of my t-shirts as well. And if you shine you have nothing to worry about. And whatever people project upon you, that's their stuff. And that's for anybody out there. But I've lived through it too many times not to understand that. Not to really say, okay, you know what? You do your ignorance over there. I'm over here. Yeah. Bye-bye. Yeah. I literally say, bye quietly. There's nothing to say verbally. Nothing. And I like to share this, the term ignorance comes from the root word to ignore. So I always get this. It's interestingly enough, somebody said the other, she was ignorant or whatever. And one of the ladies next to her was like, well, maybe she didn't mean that. Well, you're ignoring me. I mean, it's kind of like I'm right there and you're not seeing, you choose not to see me. So it's like, again, accountability, responsibility. Yeah. People just don't want to see it. And that's it's not me to say you did this or you did that, but it's just about awareness. Oh, it's awareness and being awake. And being awakened means having unconditional love for yourself. Because the more you have that for yourself, the more enlightened you are. You don't just get enlightened in the light. You get enlightened in the dark parts of you. That's what enlightenment is. Yeah. And you're never done with it. You're never done.
Yeah. There's always something new coming up, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's the beauty.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. If you're willing to say, you know what? I surrender and I've got this. I am going to surrender to you, universe. Show me the way. And that's the irony with my blindness is that when and if this happens, doesn't matter. Universe has always got my back. Yeah. Always.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your light and your story. It was like a huge pleasure to have you on the show. And tell our listeners where they can find you and where they can find your books and
Sure. Absolutely. I'd love to hear from you. My website is, I'll spell it, www.amlaspeaks, SPEAKS, amlaspeaks.com. All my books are there. My t-shirts are there. I'd love to hear from you on social media. Please reach out to me. I mean, I am my own advocate, and if you're struggling, challenged, I'd be happy to help. You're not alone. You're never alone. And so with that, I'd like to sign off with my signature saying, shine love, shine light, and shine you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And guys, if you like this episode, share it with anyone you think could benefit from hearing Amla's story. And don't hesitate to reach out to her. You don't need to do that alone. And give me a like and a review to share this episode more. And until next time, at Raw and Real with Stefanie Fernandes. Bye now.
Thank you, Stefanie. Thank you.